Hello everybody, I am here to do my review of the latest Walking Dead episode, which is called Claimed. It was from last week Sunday. Yeah, last Sunday anyway. And this was a darn good episode. I liked this one a lot. I liked basically everything that with Rick, what Rick did with hiding under the bed, playing hide and go seek, and having a staring contest with the dude on the ground. That was good. That was good stuff. I also like the whole Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene stuff. But Eugene's a fucking idiot, am I right? Like, who hip fires? Like, who does that? But, it was a good episode, so I'll start from beginning to the end, or at least I'll try, and I'll give you a review. It's a good solid review afterward, because this one's actually pretty darn organized. Okay, well, it starts out, it's Rosita, well, not Rosita, but they're on the truck, Tara and Glenn are on the truck. And it just shows Tara writing down, stuff on her hand, well, on her wrist actually, in her hand or whatever, of all the streets they're passing and whatnot. And the truck stops because they're probably going to move out some cars, and the walkers come out from, I think they were, getting their attention drawn to some balloons or something like that were on top of the sign, but I don't know. But there was three of them. Abraham got out of the truck, and Tara got her AR-15, M16, whatever the fuck it is, and tried to fire. Oh, well, she didn't fire, but she was going to, and Abraham's like, yo, bitch, don't fire that weapon. But, and then he got out and killed him. And probably one of the most unrealistic kills I've ever seen in my life. It was cool, but how he did it was completely unrealistic, alright? He hit the fucking walker with his crowbar twice, alright? And it was leaning up against the army truck. May I suggest and remind you, it's a fucking army truck. This shit is meant to be shot with fucking bullets, okay? He stabs the fucking walker through the chin, or the cheek or whatever, with his crowbar. A blunt fucking crowbar through his cheek and goes into the fucking truck. Into the truck. And then he takes Tara's weapon, he's like, yo, bitch, give me a weapon. And smashes his head in. Given it was cool, but when he pulled it out, you can completely see that was in the truck. I'm sitting here like, bullshit. You cannot jam a crowbar into a fucking army truck with you can't do that. But the look of it was cool, but the fucking crowbar thing was, you can't do that, period. But the way it was stuck in his chin or whatever, and the walker kept moving or whatever, it was pretty cool. But I'm just ranting that you couldn't fucking stick a crowbar through a walker and then into the fucking army truck. You just can't. But other than that, it was pretty cool. And then after that, it showed Carl and Michonne. They're sitting there eating cereal, talking about fucking soy milk and how it's bad. Michonne's like, it's great. And Carl's like, I'm white, it's disgusting. But I don't know. And then he was like, I could have drank fucking Judas formula, and then immediately gets sad. He's like, oh, I want to go read, and then just leaves. I'm just like, oh damn. And then they go up to Rick or whatever. Well, Michonne goes up to Rick, and they're gonna just go on a run or whatever. And Rick's like, okay, I'm coming. And Michonne's like, no, you can't come. You're still weak. Just rest for another day. And Rick's like, ugh, fine. And then goes upstairs and sleeps or whatever. And Michonne and Carl are off, and they go to another house or whatever. And they have a few little emotional scenes in there, Michonne gets asked by Carl about her son or whatever, because she kept saying, oh, you're a handful, just like my son, and then he just rapid-fire questions at her, and it kind of gets depressing or whatever. You learn about her baby named Andre or whatever. He was 3, and he died after the shit went down, and she goes into this nursery room type thing, and literally the whole family was in there and committed suicide. Little kids too. I could have swore, I don't know if it was an adult, but it was maybe a kid, but laying on the chair with its head back like that, and it does a pan shot of the back of its head, a fucking huge bullet hole coming out the back of its head. I'm like, wow. Wow. But after that scene, it goes to Rick, and you hear people downstairs, and you see him with his eyes closed, looking around with his eyes or whatever. And he wakes up because he hears someone screaming down there because people are saying, no, 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 please don't. And he screams, and he wakes up, and he's like, oh, damn, someone's in the house. Because he went upstairs to go sleep, and he was reading a book and whatnot. And he goes off the bed, crawls under the bed, and like grabs all the stuff, like the watch that Carol gave him, his book and whatnot, and goes under the bed. And what I really didn't get was, like, it makes sense why he did this next part, but it also doesn't make sense. But he forgot his water he took up there when he went down under the bed. He crawled back out under the bed to get it and bring it back down there. At first, I'm like, why the fuck do you do that? It doesn't matter if there's a water there. But it kind of does make sense why it was there, because it didn't have the condensation on it, I would say, so they could probably assume like this was new or whatever, or they could have took it. They could have took it and drank it, and that's Rick's, and you know, that's bad. You can't steal stuff. But you know, like, Rick could have drank that or whatever, that could, you know, he could possibly need that. So he went down there or whatever, and the dude was looking, like a dude came up into the upstairs where he was, and he went into his room or whatever, and he basically looked around the room, kicked around some stuff, opened some cabinets or whatever, and then I think it was the watch that Carol gave him was clicking too hard, or too loud or whatever, and he holded it to make it stop clicking or whatever, and the dude was like up in front of the bed or whatever, was just like standing there, and Rick's like no, he's like basically breathing pretty hard. He still has that rib problem, so he has trouble breathing. And the dude walked around the bed and laid on it like super fucking hard. He like jumped on it, and basically like Rick's now like he's really, you know, he's being claustrophobic or whatever. He's in a closed space. I'm not saying he's claustrophobic, but he's in a closed space. And that's basically what happens. And then the next scene is just Glenn waking up. He's like, oh, how far are we? And we've been driving for 3 hours and whatnot. He's on the back of the Abraham's truck, and he said, stop the truck or whatever, and then he starts hitting it with his gun, because it has like that little window in the back behind the driver and the passenger, so like you can like slide it open or whatever. And he was banging on that, and it's so funny, like he banged on it or whatever. He was like, hey, stop the truck, and Abraham's just like, yeah, fuck you, like it just flips him off. I found humor in that. And he started hitting it with the butt of his gun, the stock butt, whatever you want to call it. And he started hitting it with the stock or whatever, and it started cracking. Abraham stopped the truck, and he gets off or whatever. He gets out of the truck with Tara, and the back of the truck, the big army truck, and he basically just starts walking off. And he basically just says, yo, don't leave. We're on a mission to go to Washington, D.C. Eugene knows like what happened, stuff like that, which I think is complete bullshit. Which I don't think anybody knows what happens, and even if someone did, and if it wasn't Washington or whatever, they'd all be dead anyway. So, you know, you feel me? Like, the epicenter of an apocalypse that would happen, that would be the most dangerous, and like the most unlikely to find people living. I mean, like, yeah, do you really think you're gonna find someone in fucking Hiroshima right after it happens and ask what happened? Like, there was a big old bomb that dropped from the sky, like, what happened? You're not going to find anyone that, no, you're not. And, you know, after that, Glenn just continued to say, fuck off, I'm not going with you, I'm going to go find Maggie. And he was like, Tara told me about Maggie, and this is Abraham speaking, he was like, she told me about Maggie, blah, 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 blah. She's dead, you're never going to find her dead or alive, there's no reason for you to go out there and die too. And Glenn got all pissed off from the shit he's saying, just punches him, they started having a fight or whatever. Rosita, her fucking hot looking bod, like, I'll come help, and like fucking like ran over there, and Tara, they're trying to peel each other apart. And Eugene, fucking the clueless prick he is, that tries to act fucking smart, is over there looking over there like, oh, you guys are fighting, okay. And basically just doesn't even give a fuck. And then these walkers come out of the cornfields that they're at, and like hey, like scream, like didn't even scream. He was just like, hey, that's it. And then he's like, I want to go grab a gun and hip fire it. And then like he grabbed it. He didn't even know how to fucking pull back the fucking I forgot what it's called. Yeah, Operating rod, that one. He didn't even know how to pull it back to the operating rod. And they just started firing it at the ground, and he just started hip firing it. Just started hip firing it. And then he ended up shooting the gas tank of the truck. And I don't remember what, and then like the fight stopped or whatever because they heard the gunshots, and they came over and took care of the walkers. But the next scene is like Abraham out of the truck, looking at the fucking gas tank or whatever, and he makes this funny joke. I don't remember what it was, but it's something about like them blowing up a camel or something like that. And he was like, "How can you be that stupid to shoot a gas tank and ruin an army truck?" And like Eugene's just standing there all clueless, like, "Oh my god, I just ruined it." And Glenn and Tara, like, Glenn's just like, "Sorry about your ride, I'm leaving." Rosita follows, and she was like, "Oh, what else are we gonna do?" And Eugene's like, "That way's clear. We don't know what's up north. Let's just trust me. I'm smarter than you." And that's basically just. I think, in my personal opinion, that's just basically him saying that's his scapegoat from not going to Washington, because in the comic book, I heard he's a con or whatever, and he's lying. He's not a scientist or whatever. So basically, that's just saying that's his scapegoat to not go to Washington. And obviously, Eugene's gonna fucking go where, not Eugene, Abraham's gonna go where Eugene goes, so he follows him. They just start walking, and after that, it goes back to Rick. I think I might have went back at Rick before the whole gas tank thing, but they go back to Rick, and Rick is basically still trapped there, and this dude comes out saying, "Hey, I want that bed." They have a fight or whatever. The dude punches him, and he falls to the ground. He punches him again to look over and sees Rick, and Rick's like, "Oh." Whew. And like the dude like chokes him out, and the dude's saying stop. He's like, "Hell no, I ain't stopping," and basically just chokes him out. And the new dude that choked the dude out goes to sleep. He wakes up and he hears him sleeping or whatever, and he gets out, and he basically hightails out of that room because he doesn't want any fucking part of that room. And he's like in like the kids' room where Carl found all those cables in the video games or whatever, and he's about to leave that room or whatever, and they hear people like rackety-racking down there, and the dude that was sleeping is like, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep," comes back down there and goes back down or whatever. The dude almost sees Rick, and basically what he did was he just hid back in that room, grabbed a trophy that looked like a trophy, and hid in like the second part of the room. And this dude, a different part of the like dude in the group that's down there has like a tennis ball. He's like throwing it against the ground or whatever, and that's basically what he's doing. And he stops right at the doorway, and Rick's like right in the doorway, like he's on the other like a side of the doorway, and the dude stops just before the doorway and starts throwing the tennis ball up against the wall and catching it and whatnot, and turns around and leaves. And then once he leaves, he I think he closes the door, but I'm not sure. But then he like tries to open the windows, none of the windows would budge. So he goes away from that and ends up going to a bathroom, and one of the dudes that's in the group is taking a shit, like, and they just look at each other like, "Oh my god, oh." And this is what really bothered me about this episode, alright? You know how people usually, like, with instinct, like, if you get into a fight, you're not going to punch someone in the stomach. You're going to punch him in the head, or whatever. Rick hit this dude with the trophy in the stomach. I'm sitting here like, dude, if you would have hit him in the head, you probably would have knocked him out or something like that, or you would have hurt him a lot. But he just popped him in the stomach. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I see why they popped him in the stomach, to create a little drama, because when they were fighting or whatever, Rick got him like in a chokehold or whatever, like got something around his neck, and the dude tried to crawl up to the counter to grab some scissors, but he couldn't because Rick choked him out and killed him. And that fight was pretty good, and it was very intense for Rick. I should say it was very intense. The whole scene with him was really intense, like with him under the bed and whatnot. But after that, he grabs the dude's Uzi that was taking a poo-poo. He grabs his Uzi and just opens up a window and leaves. He goes, and this like he's like in the back of the house or whatever, in the backyard, and he goes around the front, and he hears the dude with the tennis ball out on the porch, and he just sits there like he like goes up on the railing and stuff like that. And this like the parameter of the house, right? There's a porch that's up about like 6 feet 6, 7 feet or whatever. There's a railing. Rick's down here on the bottom on the ground, like right up on the porch. The dude's sitting there up on the railing right above him. Well, not really above him. He's around the corner above him. And the dude's sitting there, looks like he's eating peaches or something like that, some sort of canned food. And he turns around, he's about to pull him down. He looks over there and sees Michonne and Carl walking back from the house that they were looting or whatever. And like, Rick's like, fucking shit. And then like, they hear like the dude that he choked out turn into a walker or whatever. And like, basically they heard gunshots and screaming. And the dude eating peaches like shit, like throws down the peaches or whatever and goes up and saves him. And Rick just fucking sprints out of there like saying, Carl, go, 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 go. And basically they hightail it out of there. And you see a few scenes about after that with like Abraham and Tara talking about Glenn or whatever. Abraham saying it is important for him to find his girl, his wife or whatever, but so what? This is way more important. If he finds her, so what? If we go to Washington or not go to Washington, it could save the human race or whatever. And every time I hear saving the human race, it sounds weird. Like, I don't know if it's just me hearing it a lot. Like, oh, you'll save the human race by like Star Trek or something like that. But I don't know. It just sounded weird to me. But like, I assume you get my point. But yeah, like they're just talking along the road. Nothing really happens, and then Rick, Michonne, and Carl are walking along the train tracks or whatever from like the "Don't Look Back" poster. And they find a railway car that has the terminus, those who arrive survive thing on it. And Rick's just like, YOLO, let's go to it. And the episode ends. So, that was it Claimed? Yeah, that was Claimed. It was a good solid episode. I gave it an 8.5. It was a good solid episode. Actually, 8.4. 8.4, yeah. It was a good solid episode. It was probably better than the first two. Just can't wait for the next one. I think the next one's called Still. That comes on in a few days on Sunday. Can't wait for that one. I'll get my review out for it on Monday. I have that on my calendar here to my right. That's basically just I'm going to do my daily review, then my review of The Walking Dead. So, oh, and also, I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Trevor. He is making me a super sick intro so I can start doing intros with my videos and whatnot. So when I start getting that out, I want to put out a video of my intro, and because I already have my shitty fucking one that I made, but I'm not using that one because it's so bad. But he's going to make me one on Cinema 4D. I have Cinema 4D, but I don't know how to use it. I'm going to be honest. I'm sitting here like making boxes drop on bouncy floors. I'm like, good enough. But yeah, he's going to make me a super sick intro, and I can't wait for him to send that to me. So anyways, guys, I will see you tomorrow with my daily review, and I'll see you on Monday with my review of The Walking Dead. Anyways, lots of love, peace, bye!